and Neil Hodgson got a terrific start on the right-hand side of your picture, the number 4 Ducati. Going with him, though, hard, Chris Walker, and we're looking back now from Chris Walker at Neil Hodgson. So Chris Walker on the Suzuki has grabbed the lead going into Gerrard's. Hodgson, number 4, in second. Then it's Hayden, the lap record holder, in third. A brilliant start by number 22, Steve Plater on the Kawasaki. He's in fourth. Also showing well, number 16, Shane Byrne. Good to see Shane Byrne going so well. Newly back, and a big wiggle from Plater's number 22, Kawasaki. Reynolds is in fifth place. Chris Walker, number 2, leads at the hairpin. First time round. Look how tightly they're bunched. No sign yet of the Australian Anthony Gobert, but he started way down the order, qualified in 18th place, so clearly he's got a massive job to do. Meanwhile, 6 points adrift in the championship. Chris Walker leads the championship leader, Neil Hodgson.
Well, it's 28 laps around this 1.3 mile circuit, so at the moment the riders really getting the tyres all working and settled in. You'll notice where the change in the tarmac surface there is at the exit of Gerrard's. The bikes wiggle a bit. That's normal. They're squirting the power on out of there as hard as they can before coming down to the S's. 90 miles an hour through here. This is the part of the circuit where we're going to see some action into this very tight hairpin. You can see all the way down to first gear, the slowest part on the circuit, before up to second through this bus stop chicane. You could see flames then on the corner of the screen out of the exhaust of Chris Walker's bike.
And that is John Crockford. That's the Privateer Championship leader, has taken a tumble as well. Now, where is that? He's come, going into the S's. John Crockford losing it, going into the S's. He stretched that gap now to something like 5 or 6 machine lengths, but we know only too well where Neil Hodgson is quick. He's very quick through the S's. He is aggressive to the point of mania up towards the hairpin, and he really closes Chris Walker down as they go into the hairpin and the bus stop chicane. Now, which side is he going to go? He's looking left, wide in, tight out. Is that the way? The Ducati punches out of here. It's got more bottom end torque. This is where he gets right on the back of Chris Walker. There it is. You can't get much closer than that.
Well, John Reynolds is starting to creep back into the frame. You can see him at the back of the picture there on bike number 3. So these two are going to have to be slightly careful because Reynolds can catch them. Reynolds is a capable rider. He's very capable of putting lap record times in. And Hodgson now is right on the back of Walker. Let's just look and see if he can get a better drive onto the straight.
Tucked in behind the slipstream, moves out wide, going to go round the outside into the Lake S's. No way through, said Chris Walker. He's riding a defensive line, which is maybe not the fastest line, and could possibly give the 3rd, 4th and 5th place men an opportunity to move up. This is a shot of Neil Hodgson taking a look at the outside. This the battle then between Steve Plater, number 22, James Hayden, number 5, and ahead of them, Hayden's teammate John Reynolds is now well away. Oh, round the outside goes Hodgson. That was unbelievably brave at the S's. I said he was a demon going into there, and he is. That almost caught me unawares. It certainly caught Chris Walker unawares, because he is now 2 on the bike, 2nd in the championship, 2nd in the race.
Well, that was an unbelievable move by Hodgson. Let's just see if we can see what happened. It looks like the exit speed from Gerrard's there. Walker moves over to take a defensive line, and Hodgson did a very brave manoeuvre all the way around the outside and took the advantage.
Sensational stuff by Neil Hodgson. Well, this is his best year ever. We've said it before and I'll say it again. He really is in unbeatable form in the year 2000 season. What a bright future Neil Hodgson has ahead of him. And ahead of him also, he has number 69, Steve Marks, one of the tail enders. And hopefully Steve Marks will be aware that they are coming. He should do, because he's about to have an almighty surprise. Are they going to go either side of him? No, they're not. He tucks neatly. He knew they were there. Well done, Steve. Out of the way. Hodgson, though. Walker got the Suzuki in a huge shake as he got the power on as early as he dare. He is now really fighting back. He never gives up. Chris Walker on the inside at the hairpin. Walker... everything that's happened this season must have flashed through Chris Walker's mind there. The temptation to run on into that bend, Roger, must have been enormous.
Well, Chris Walker there surprised me, because I thought he was going to stick it up the inside of Hodgson at the hairpin. Maybe he's saving it because this is the last lap that they're on now. But yeah, he withheld himself and showed restraint.
Well, we've seen them come together more than once this year, and that would have been a carbon copy move had Chris Walker kept on going on the Suzuki, but he didn't. Davey Wood now, the next of the tail enders, about to be relegated on the last lap, and it doesn't take very long. They're lapping here in 47 and a bit seconds round the Mallory Park circuit. Davey Wood very well aware they're out of the way, so he stays wide. Chris Walker's now got to fire the Suzuki up through the bus stop chicane. Hodgson riding defensively, tucking his knee on the curb. Davey Wood might just get out of the way in time. Yes, he does. They're on the inside, and away they go over the line. A massive wheelie. Neil Hodgson extends that championship lead. Confirmation of the result. Hodgson, Walker, Reynolds got third. Plater, as I said, a best ever fourth place. And the existing lap record holder, James Hayden, in fifth.
After their points to the lights and the revs go up, you see Chris Walker there twitching the throttle. He's got his fingers on the front brake, blip, blip, blip with the right hand. Look, and off he goes. Walker gets lightning starts. Let's see how he's done this time. And he's not disappointed, as it's Walker that's going to take the advantage as they peel right-handed into Gerrard's, and it's Reynolds this time that's right behind him. Hodgson back in third, James Hayden in fourth, Steve Plater in fifth.
Well, second place, number 3, John Reynolds, has taken us at our word, and certainly he knew he had to do something special this time. He's got the start, that's for sure. We know for a fact John Reynolds likes riding in clean air. He likes to get clear of the traffic, get out there and do his thing. There's only one person stopping him from leading the race currently, and that's number 2, Chris Walker, yet to be beaten away from the lights almost this year. He has been terrific. I just wonder how quickly he gets away from the traffic lights when he's driving on the streets. His reactions are lightning quick. The Suzuki bites, we know he's hard on the clutch because, as you saw Roger Burnett talking him through, and this is the start again, looking back from Chris Walker, number 22 on the green Kawasaki is Steve Plater. There's Neil Hodgson left in the dust. There is John Reynolds, and established firmly in the lead Chris Walker. Hayden is on the inside of Neil Hodgson, so James Hayden has grabbed third place. He's in the wheel tracks of his Team Reve Racing teammate John Reynolds, third in the championship. Fourth in the championship, James Hayden. Championship leader Neil Hodgson is still in fourth. A brave ride by number 22, Steve Plater, who is hanging on to the leading quartet miraculously and admirably. He is doing a terrific job here. Round the long sweeping Gerrards they go, up through the gearbox into top gear on the Stevie straight, and they will go down to fourth at this point, braking from 150 miles an hour. It's Hayden in third, Hodgson in fourth, number 2 Chris Walker leads, John Reynolds in second, and in third place James Hayden. And remember, coming into this Mallory Park meeting, James Hayden was the quickest man round here. He's the existing lap record holder before the event, so he obviously knows Mallory Park very well. But is he going to interfere in the nicest possible way with John Reynolds' quest to consolidate his championship position?
Well, this is a fairly slow start to this race, and we're a third of the way through, but Chris Walker seems to be holding the rest of them up because he may have tyre grip problems, because Plater's been able to catch them up. Now let's look this time as they exit Gerrard's, and John Reynolds has got a really good drive. He's going one side and Hayden's going the other, but no, it's John Reynolds has got through. He's ahead of Chris Walker.
New race leader, number 3, John Reynolds, and it's not insignificant that John Reynolds won the second race here last year in 1999 at this very event, as Chris Walker takes a bold move around the outside. Look at Steve Plater sitting there waiting to pick up the pieces. Still it's John Reynolds leading. Walker in second, Hayden in third. I was about to say Hayden won the first race last year, Reynolds took the second race. The best Chris Walker could do 12 months ago was a couple of third places. He's now in second. So he was second in the first race, he's second in this one. Is he going to lose out to yet another Ducati with a different number on the front? John Reynolds then riding really well, looking towards getting those 25 bar to stoppage. Red flags, there is an incident somewhere on the circuit. Oh dear me, that is Marty Craggle's Kawasaki. Chris Walker goes in pole position, and there he is on the right-hand side of your screen, alongside him Reynolds. Then it's Hayden, and final man on the front row in fourth place, Neil Hodgson. The lights go green again. It's Chris Walker, his third start of the day. Is it going to be his third whole shot of the day? Yes, it is. Walker first into Gerrard's. It's Hayden this time, number 5, who's grabbed second place. Reynolds goes with him. He'll feel a little bit cheated, a little bit aggrieved that he was out in front at the stoppage. Now, at the restart, he's been shoved down into third by his teammate. No love lost there in the nicest way. There is always a great deal of competitive instinct, Roger, is there not, between teammates?
Well, all these guys actually get on off the track, but when they're all on their bikes with their helmets on, they obviously all want to win. And it's the same four as we've got at the front. In fact, the same five as we had at the front, just in slightly different orders with the 2-2 Rev A bikes, reversed positions. But James Hayden is a difficult man to overtake, and John Reynolds is going to have to pull something out of the back to get ahead of his teammate when James Hayden's got his head down and he can see that win, illustrious win ahead of him, then he's likely to go for it.
Chris Walker, number 2, leads. They are all over him, almost contact there. He swung wide into the late guesses. That Hayden was really making an attack on the outside. He's all at sea as a result. Reynolds is back up into second place, the place he rightfully considers, I suspect, to be his. Hodgson, meanwhile, still in fourth and growing more discontent by the minute.
That was an incredible move, because James Hayden here, look, he's coming alongside Chris Walker. You can see he's coming down the outside of him. Chris Walker moves to the defensive line, then swings back across and actually touches James Hayden's bike. That puts Hayden wide and almost off the track. And this is the last lap.
Well, the temptation, of course, is always to get the power on too early. He's on the inside at Gerrard's, and up into third place. In this race goes Neil Hodgson, but I remind you just very quickly before we come round to complete the lap, this will be on adjusted time. The times from the first and second parts of this race will be added together, and Neil Hodgson is actually not doing himself a lot of good here. Hayden is fighting back, and they are shaking all over the track. They're after the same bit of tarmac, obviously, but meanwhile, while these two are scrapping, Chris Walker ahead of them. Look at the rear end of James Hayden's Ducati. There are back markers ahead. Is he going to try a last-ditch stand on Hodgson again, going into the closing stages? Through the bus stop go Walker and Reynolds. Hodgson still in third, Hayden still in fourth, and it's Walker on his way, takes the win. Chris Walker takes the win. Reynolds will be thrilled with that. We'll have to see where they shake down on adjusted time, but in my book, Chris Walker has lifted the round 20 victory here at Mallory Park. Confirmation then of that result. Walker indeed took the win from Reynolds. Hayden, Hodgson in fourth, so just 13 points from that race.